Welcome back to the Boys In Bolos podcast. We're down here in the barbershop studio. Actually, I'm only down here, Jarrett. You're remote. It's snowing out. Jarrett didn't want to go slip sliding to my house.
Yeah, I went outside earlier and I was like, nah, I don't want to do this again. Because what happens is we finish recording and then we go upstairs and then we crack Celsius and then we sit on the couch and we probably watch YouTube and or just like top 50 goals ever. And then I get comfy on the couch and then I don't want to leave. And then I have to go outside and it's freezing. Or I could just stay here. We can connect on the old interweb and record that way. So there's that.
The funny part is that if we didn't tell our listeners this, they wouldn't even probably notice.
They may not notice. Maybe we shouldn't even make a deal of it anymore. We're probably wasting their time.
We shouldn't even make a deal of it, but we talk about it every time. They don't care. Nobody cares. It's the winter. It snows. I mean, that's not news.
It's the winter. It snows, guy. Week 28 in the books. Well, this was quite the week.
What was your highlight of the weekend?
Well, if you're a Chelsea or a Tottenham fan, you won big. We blew out Burnley. Y'all blew out Everton. Aston Villa blew out Southampton. My highlight of this week was realizing that Manchester United is maybe not going to make top four because Arsenal's looking competitive, probably losing that bet to John Scheimer. West Ham's hanging around. Wolves are going to be competitive. And, we've talked about it. Man City, then Liverpool, or Liverpool, then Man City. One of those two. Chelsea will probably be comfortably in third. And then I don't really know what's going to happen for fourth. I think it's honestly just such a crapshoot. So the highlight for me was I don't even know if the Man City, I don't know. It was a weird week. I wasn't really impressed by anything. What were you surprised by when you look at these scorelines? The Brentford game, maybe?
Yeah, Brentford winning pretty big was surprising a little bit, but two of the goals were penalties, but I mean, they were in the box. So, I mean, Ivan Toney had a hat trick, which was nice to see him back scoring goals again. Probably the biggest surprise to me wasn't that United lost, because I figured they were going to lose, was that they basically just gave up second half. They just capitulated. They were like, this team sucks to play against. We don't want to play anymore. We'll just give up a bunch of goals. All right, cool. Because it looked like they were competitive the first half, right? They only were down 2-1 at half, maybe, right? Was it 2-1 or were they down 1-0 at half or something?
2-0.
There's only a goal difference.
It was 2-0 at half. But either way, it wasn't a mountain to climb.
It was close. At one point, it was tied 1-1. And so I was like, oh, it's going to be a game. And then
ESPN FC put up a stat or a screenshot of a stat. I think it was probably on Sky Sports. It looks like Sky Sports coloring, the brand. And it said last 15 minutes possession, Man City had 92% and Manchester United had 8%. And I watched the presser after, and they asked Ragnick, like, yo, did your team give up? And he's like, no. I'm like, yeah, dude, they gave up. There was an entire 10 minutes where I don't think City kind of relinquished the ball. And if they did, they would get it back within 30 seconds, and then they would hold it for another 3 minutes. And there was a time where I was actually convinced that City had two more players in the field than United. I mean, it was like a training thing where you're just working on possession and movement. It was incredible. Like, if I'm Ronaldo watching, I just want to leave this team.
One of the goals, I think it was the second or third goal, where I don't know if it was Gundogan or one of the skillers on City, which is pretty much every player. Maybe it was Grealish, basically passed it across the goal and through Harry Maguire's legs. He did a dummy. And then they scored.
That was the shot, and I forget. This is the Kevin De Bruyne second goal. There was a shot, and I forget who took the shot. And then De Gea saves it, and he pushes it back out, and it goes towards Maguire. But instead of kicking it out for a corner, he dummies it, and Kevin De Bruyne cleans up from the 6. I mean, it was like the fact that there was the stat that was put up, and I was with John Scheimer earlier. We were watching the Champions League, and we were just joking about that meme that was put up where it was showing Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka that were each bought for combined 130 million, and it's like, what did that get you? Actually, what did it get you?
I just don't see, and it's, I guess the only reason he makes national team is because he's the United captain, but there are a lot better center backs who are English who should be starting above him. White, Dyer, Cody, even Mings.
Oh, even Tyrone Mings. There have been rumors that Ronaldo wants the captaincy, and I don't see a stronger argument than losing to your crosstown rivals 4-1. And it wasn't just like it was 4-1 and they were, United was on the front foot and pressing. This was a drubbing. This was actually the biggest difference I've ever seen between these teams, because United literally gave up in the last 15 minutes. And I will say, we've talked a lot on this pod about whether Ronaldo should or shouldn't play. Maybe he gums up space that other people would run through. But with Mason Greenwood now no longer essentially playing, he was part of my conversation about why Ronaldo maybe should sit to give him more time. He's younger. He's not going to play. Rashford, a shell of himself. Martial out on loan. Maybe Ronaldo needs to play every game, if for no other reason. He is not going to let guys drag ass at the end of the game and not chase the game, even if it's hopeless. He's going to play whistle to whistle. That would be my only argument. Because if I'm Ronaldo and I'm watching that, I'm just embarrassed. What's up?
He picked up a knock, right? He
had allegedly picked up a knock. I think that there's even some weird stuff because he was like, yeah, I was fine, and the physio told me I couldn't play. So I don't really know what was going on there. I don't want to go down some drama conspiracy hole there with that. But Ronaldo needs to play, in my estimation, for the rest of the season, or Cavani. You have to have one of the old men on the field that was going to lead from the front, chase the ball down, even when all seems lost. Because Cavani and Ronaldo were not in the field, and it was super obvious at the end that there was no leadership. Because Harry Maguire can't be a leader after he dummied the ball into his own net.
I don't know why he's the captain. He doesn't do anything. He just stares at people and makes funny faces. He's not
I don't know why he's the captain.
His nickname is literally Slabby. The guy is a bonehead. The other thing that I remember texting you, or I texted our group chat with Nader and Eddie during the game, and I said, what's the point of Paul Pogba? Honestly, what is the point of him? Because he did, besides one pass he had in the game to, I don't even know who it was to, but he had one pass, basically. Besides that, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't defend. He barely attacks. He kind of just trots around. It's painful to see what he's doing out there, because it's bad. It's really bad. I
agree with you 100%, but I don't know if we can put all the evils just on Paul Pogba. He's surrounded
No. Oh, no, of course not.
Sludge at this point. They've taken a beautiful Jadon Sancho.
McFred.
Anchored by McFred.
That's it.
And they've taken a beautiful Jadon Sancho, and now the guy just a couple years ago, he was absolutely balling out of his mind, and now he comes over here and it's just meh. He's fairly flat. They won't even get Lingard the run I think he deserves in these games where they're just chasing. Put him up top. I just don't understand. So United to me is in a world of hurt because three of their back four, they're not even real to me. Lindelof's a joke. Maguire is a running joke. And Wan-Bissaka's easily, he shouldn't be on a team that's worth $800 million, excuse me.
800 billion. I love that.
There's a couple zeros off there. But anyways, this to me was the biggest surprise that United gave up. The rest of the things, it happens, it's football. But for United to give up, that was just embarrassing, especially in this derby. This used to be something to look forward to as the neutral. And it still was. City had great patterns. They had great play. I still hold that Riyad Mahrez is one of the most deadly. For me, he's probably the most deadly at City. He just is so dangerous coming in off the left, and he's so clinical, which he showed with that volleyed goal.
Good game.
What's up?
I think Mahrez and De Bruyne showed why City are the best team in the world, maybe. At least the best team in the Premier League. They were very, very good. Very good.
Definitely the best team in the Premier League.
The other surprise, I was kind of the Spurs game. They absolutely smacked down Everton. It wasn't even close. The first 15 minutes was somewhat close, and then Everton gave up an own goal, and it was just they fell apart. And not only did they fall apart, Spurs are one of those top 7 teams that are just kind of sludge. 1 week they play well, and the next week they play like crap, but Everton are bad. So Everton need to figure out what's going on, because they're going to get relegated if they keep playing like this. 100%.
It's real bad. I am looking at the table again, and we talked about this last week when you officially declared Everton part of the relegation battle, and I can say that it's a real thing. I think they have a coach that is not experienced enough to drag them out of this. Frank has only worked with Derby County, right? Did he work with Derby County? Am I getting that right?
Derby, yeah.
And then he worked with Chelsea. 2 teams that were at the top of their leagues, more or less, or being competitive. In the top 5 conversation, Derby was trying to come up to the Premier League, and Chelsea was trying to get in the top 4. And as a player, Franklin never, ever dealt with a relegation battle. He was always trying to win silverware. So I don't know if he's the guy you want at the helm for the new waves that they've got going on there. I don't even know what they need to do. It seems to me on paper, when I look at the team, they have a decent team, and I'm thinking that they're just underachieving. But when you lose 5-0 against any team in the Prem, other than like City or Liverpool, that is a serious shot across the bow. And I just wonder the conversations that are going on in the background, because I think Nader was saying, or Eddie in the chat, or maybe even you said it, they sold Digne to another Premier League team, which probably not the wisest. They let Ancelotti go to bring in Franklin, or to bring in not a top coach. It's just not good.
They brought in Benitez.
Sorry, they brought in Benitez, which is just a lame excuse for anything, and then he got rolled out. But like Calvert-Lewin being hurt doesn't help. But did he play? It looks like he played against Spurs.
Yeah, he played.
So,
he played.
Okay, he played.
He played. He was just invisible.
Okay, he's a baller. Decore's serviceable. Richarlison's actually, I think, a pretty good player. Gordon, I've been very impressed with. Van de Beek and Allen, like that should be a much more lockdown defense. And then you get into the back, and Keane has been just a disaster. But Pickford's still probably in a top 10 conversation for goalies just because he's England's keeper. So I don't understand. They, to me, are a mid-table Premier League team, and I am hoping that they do not get relegated. They are the team longest. They've spent the most years out of any other team, I believe, in the top flight of English football historically. So for them to get relegated would be massive. I do not think it will happen. And part of that, once again, is just because, as you said on many times, and I think you're totally right, Burnley, Watford, and Norwich are just worse. But, even United, when I say United, I mean even Newcastle is inched out of the relegation battle with their buys. So maybe Everton, should they get relegated, they will probably rue the day that they did not, make more moves in the January transfer window. They basically thought that they were going to play better with the pieces that they had, but it's turning out that's just not the case. But if you're Franklin, what do?
You figure out some way to not get scored on, because they've got to do something defensively, and they are a sieve. They're a sieve right now. I don't know. I'm not a Premier League coach, but he doesn't have very good players, center defensive midfielders or center midfielders. I think they let Digne go because I don't know what maybe they needed money. I don't know. He was a good wingback, and maybe he just wasn't fitting in their style of play. But I don't know. I'm a little lost. I mean, they have a couple games in hand, so maybe they are able to scrape some ties out of those, some draws out of those, and maybe get a win here and there. But if they can't even be competitive with Spurs. They can't be competitive with, those lower level teams. I think they lost on Norwich, right? I don't know. I don't have the answers. If people want to let us know what they think, what the solution is, Van de Beek and Dele Alli aren't the answer to their problems.
Van de Beek looked pretty good in some of the first earlier games that he started playing full 90. That I did not see the Tottenham Spurs, the Tottenham Everton game, so I couldn't really weigh in. But I did see was it Man City or Liverpool who beat them? Maybe it was Man City.
They played City really well.
Exactly. And in that game, I was fairly impressed with Van de Beek, and I do think Van de Beek and Allen must be a nice holding. A nice pair to hold in the midfield. I just think that maybe the skill will eventually even out, and they'll end up finishing 15th, but I'm not really sure. But let's get away from Everton because there's way more questions than answers. This upcoming week is match day 29, which is kind of surreal because that means we have 9 match days after that. And so I think on match day 30, not this week, but next week, we should definitely look at the chances of relegation for the first we'll basically say what we did this a couple seasons ago, or maybe we just did this last season, What is time, where we go through each team and we say what is their highest and their lowest. And the reason why we'll do this exercise is for only one reason. It will get John Scheimer's blood pressure going, because I may have to capitulate that I may lose 100 doll hairs to him. And I saw him today and he was just like, do you want to send me the money now? Now, I think I have a 5% chance, which I think, as he said, is generous, that Arsenal will finish outside the top 8, but anything is possible. So with that said, let's look at week 29, and next week we can do that. We can go through each of the teams because I'll be back down in the barbershop. It might be easier to do on the whiteboard. This week, we could see if City drop points, Liverpool could get that much closer because Liverpool still have a game in hand, I believe. Yeah, Liverpool still have a game in hand, but if City were to drop points and Liverpool were to win, then we're getting really, really close to an equaling of points. But this week we start on Saturday, Sunday, Monday games. The Saturday game is Brighton Hove Albion, which I was very wrong. I thought Brighton Hove was going to win last week. You said they weren't. You were totally right. Brighton Hove Liverpool. What are your thoughts on this one? And it is at Amex. Your face says it all.
I'm silent only because the answer is Liverpool will win. But the question is, by how many goals? I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
I agree. I think Brighton's better than they are, clearly, so I will be quiet. The next game is going to be up for the wooden spoon. Burnley may or may not pack it in. Brentford probably need a win. They're going to be at home. Brentford-Burnley. I'm going to go ahead and say Brentford win this 1-0, but do not watch this game. Your eyes will bleed. Sean Dyche is going to stack 10 humans on the 18, and they're just going to kick shins, but not in the box, outside. And that's how that's going to be. Ivan Toney's just going to be trying to stay onside the entire game. Thoughts?
Burnley are going to squeak out a 1-1 draw.
Saturday, the third game, is a team that seems to be on the up. I don't know if it's on the up when you beat Everton right now, but versus a team that is on the down. So United versus Spurs, what is going to happen? It is at Old Trafford. I am thinking you guys will beat them, and I am thinking they will be booed off the field at the end of the game. What do you think?
That would be great for Spurs fans because you love to see United lose. Sorry, Casey. I did talk to Casey after the game, and I asked him some of the questions I asked you about Pogba and what's going on with Hasib and Slabby and all that, and he agreed with me 100%. He's the most self-deprecating United fan out there. He does not believe in his team. He does not believe in them doing well. Spurs did lose to United earlier in the season, I think 3-0, back when might have still been when Nuno was coach. Yeah. But I think Spurs are much improved since that. And United are struggling to figure out the right combination of players that they have. And that's being very generous. I think if Ronaldo plays, they have a good chance of, winning or at least drawing. But I don't think he's going to play. And I think the Spurs will win 2-0.
I think Spurs will win by 2. I do think Ronaldo will play, and I just don't think it's going to matter. I think Spurs are in a moment. They're playing well. If Harry Kane and Son connect for even one goal, I don't see the way Spurs will lose. They just get in this little zone, and it's kind of annoying. They have ESP.
And Spurs also are much better with Romero, Dyer, and Davies back there playing 3-back. Very solid. I don't think Old Trafford bothers them. It's whatever.
Yeah, if anything, I think maybe they want to play away from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium so they don't feel the wrath of the entire stadium should they suck. There's something about being on the road against a team that's kind of on the way down as far as its quality, because it's just the pressure's on them, not as much on Spursy. So the next game is Chelsea versus Newcastle. Newcastle has been playing much better. I will give them that. But Chelsea is Chelsea. I am going to go Chelsea by the... You know what? I'm not going to even say goals. Chelsea's going to win this game. I'm not really sure. Every time I say goals, I'm always really wrong with them these days. So I got Chelsea winning. Can we move to the next game and talk about Everton Wolves? Because this game could be the game where Franklin... I don't even know. I don't know if Everton has it in them to fire him, but like something needs to change if they lose to Wolves. The only thing I was thinking at the end of our Everton spiel was that maybe they go 3 in the back and they use wing backs just to lock everything down. And that's what teams often do when they're just having defensive woes. It's the easiest thing. It's low hanging fruit. So this game between Everton and Wolves will be played at Goodison, which does help them. But because last time they played at Goodison, did you guys beat them at Goodison 5-0?
No, it was at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Okay. I was going to say, when they're at Goodison, I don't like to play them. So if they lose to Wolves, like they played City super tough at Goodison and only lost because Keane had basically like a brain fart. I think if they lose this game by Wolves by more than 2 goals, I think it's going to get really tough for Franklin. Really tough, really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and call a 1-1 tie.
Nah, Wolves will beat them. Wolves are better.
If they do you concur that the noose is tightening around Franklin's neck?
He does not look comfortable. Let's put it that way.
No one is when they're in the gallows. Next game, West Ham, Aston Villa. This is a game that I know, regardless of where it's played and what's at stake, you want West Ham to lose. This game is going to be played at London Stadium. I think West Ham win this 3-1.
Oh, yeah, but I like Steven Gerrard. I like what they got going on. I think Ollie Watkins is actually starting to play better. He scored in the last couple games.
Did you just praise Ollie Watkins?
I praised him. Ollie Watkins is playing better. He's finding some form. And Coutinho, he's a revelation. You don't sleep on Coutinho. I think Aston Villa, they got Digne. We're speaking of Digne. That's where he went. He went to Aston Villa. I think this team is much better. They got Douglas Luiz. They got some players. They got some things happening up front. They got Martinez in goal. Dude, don't sleep on Aston Villa. All right? I think they're going to squeak it out 2-1 in London Stadium. I think West Ham on their way down, baby.
This is the first time on the pod we're going to do this because we've never done this, and now we're doing it. This is the game we bet. I bet, if you're open, you have to also agree. I bet that West Ham win. Scoreline doesn't matter. You're saying Aston Villa are going to win. If we tie, it's a push. This is for one doll hair. Are you in?
One NFT of $1. One picture of an NFT of $1.
Okay, we could send it back and forth every week to see who wins. Is this the hill you're going to die on? You think Aston Villa is going to go to London Stadium and win?
Yeah.
This is it.
This is it. This is the bet.
All right.
The bet of the week.
This is not called. Yeah, exactly. This is the Bolo bet of the week. I'm going to go for West Ham. You're going to go for Aston Villa. Okay, cool. Next game, Southampton, Watford. I don't even really want to talk about this game. They're both meh.
Let's move on. Okay. They're both dog shit.
Leeds, Norwich. I also don't really have much to say. I kind of want to get to the Arsenal.
Leeds need a win. Leeds need a win. Jesse Marsch needs a win.
Leeds definitely need a win.
They played really well and they didn't get anything out of the game last week. And deserved at least a point, and they didn't get anything. So I hope they win. I hope Jesse Marsch gets a win. They need it. I don't want to see them go down.
I don't want to see Josh Sargent lose either, so I'm really hoping for a tie. Next game, Arsenal-Leicester. This is a game that I need Leicester to win because otherwise I'm giving John Scheimer 100 doll hairs. It's at the Emirates, so I think Arsenal will win. Arsenal, between Martinelli, Saka, and
Odegaard.
Odegaard. I was going to say Smith Rowe. Odegaard is playing nice. I might have to even pick him up on my fans because he's looking very nice. I think Arsenal will win this game. I want Leicester to win, but I think Arsenal will win. Does that sound fair?
That jives. That jives with the current situation in the Premier League.
You just use the word jive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leicester is dog shit, and I don't know why. And it's really annoying. They're dog shit. Jamie Vardy has played like crap. Or not played. It's just, I don't know what's happened to this team. They're not good anymore.
I don't know what's happening either because James Maddison used to be one of my favorite players to watch because he's just a baller and he's just not balling. So Brendan Rodgers definitely has his work cut out because it's like they're not going to finish in Europe and they're also not going to be relegated. So now they're just not like an exciting team to kind of keep tabs on. I just need them to start beating Arsenal. Like if they could beat Arsenal, that'd be sweet. I just need everyone to beat Arsenal. The final game of this week, I don't know. Crystal Palace is super annoying, and it is going to be at Selhurst, but I just don't see them beating City. I see City winning this. But last time we said the City tied or lost randomly. So are we in agreement that City will probably win this game?
Yeah, I mean they threw up a goose egg against Sporting Lisbon today. Who'd they play? Who was that team in Champions League? They
Sporting,
tied
yeah.
0-0.
They tied 0-0. But they had beaten
Sporting.
them
But
5-0.
they were up. Yeah, they were up 5-0 on aggregate. So I don't think it's going to have really much of an impact. They got enough ballers to like rotate. So yeah, I see them winning 2-0. I mean, Mars is so good. Mars, Gundogan.
Mars is one of my favorite players to watch. In the Champions League, going on is Liverpool, Bayern, Manchester City, and Real Madrid. So just absolute bangers. Basically, the Super League. Fun. Next week in the Champions League, we will see who goes through. And the teams that will be playing are, when I can finally get there.
Juve, Villarreal. Juve and Villarreal, Chelsea and Lille.
Yep. Ajax, Benfica, and United Atletico.
There we go.
Who do you think's going through there? I mean, I've got Ajax going through.
Yep.
Chelsea.
Yep.
Juve, and I don't know what's going on with the United, the match of the Uniteds because, sorry, not United, United versus Atletico, because they're both just so underwhelming to me in their domestic leagues right now. I don't really know what to think. But the Champions League is looking nice this year. I'm kind of liking it. And I made a really great call saying PSG would win it because they were the strongest team because they got bounced out today to an old man, a.k.a. Benzema. That dude's like a timeless character. Did he have a hat trick today?
He did, yeah, hat trick today.
God.
I wasn't watching that part of the game because I was doing some errands and stuff, but I saw the third goal. It was PSG literally imploded. They decided, we're not going to play defense anymore for like 20 minutes. And they lost the tie. And that
17
was it.
minutes, 3 goals. That was it. It was super frustrating. Very frustrating to see. But it is what it is. Champions League is brutal. And they are the juggernauts of the Champions League. They have won 13, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Let's look very, very quickly, or not so quickly, at fantasy. Because I still think that Ozatique is going to be challenged for his title. Mitch is at the top, then followed by Nick and by Oz. And Mitch has actually increased the gap between he and Oz, which is a very nice thing. And Nick Bailey's in second. So there's a lot to play for. Will Hayden is also flying up. Will Hayden was the player who used the Jared Bowden triple captain, which was like dark arts magic next level. This week when Chelsea won and Reece James scored a goal and had an assist, I didn't put him in my team because apparently I'm a genius. He was sitting on the bench. So don't do what I do in fantasy. And Jeff, what's the player to look out for right now that people should be thinking about adding to their lineup?
I'm going to go with Spurs. I'm going to say Kulusevski. Pick him up. I think he's a good winger option for you. I think he'll either get an assist or a goal. If you're looking for a defender, everybody's got Alexander-Arnold, and now pick up Reece James if you don't have him, I guess. He's going to start. That's it.
I think it's solid. That
was my tip of the week.
Yeah, your tip of the week was okay. I think I'm going to win the first ever Bolo bet, which is for $1 hair or an NFT of a picture of $1, which the gas could be alone $45. If you get this crypto talk, I love you. And we will have to check in on that because now I just don't think Aston Villa are going to. But if Aston Villa do go into London Stadium and win, that is awesome. I like that, though. So I win either way. Or I lose a bet to you, and I'll probably lose a bet to John Scheimer. Maybe I shouldn't bet anymore.
Are you rooting? Are you going to root for? You're not going to root for West Ham, are you? You can't.
No, but now I will because I have my $1 bet.
I guess. I just don't think this team. Okay. Well, then we're going to leave it there. We're just going to leave it at that.
We will leave it right there, and we'll see everyone next week when I'm $1 hair richer.
Catch you next time.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch at Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening and see you next time.